AD.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
I guess you do get some value as you scale.
You know what?
As Jhin especially.
Atlas isn't here today. We can talk nicely about Jhin.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be pretty good nowadays, especially with all the focus on lane prio down in the bottom lane. Do see a lot of Jhin.
Yep. Well, I think also, you know, some builds have been more effective than others. Definitely been the case, but we do get into this game 2 draft. So KT again going to be on first pick. And starting off the draft a little bit differently here with a lot of focus towards these jungle bans. So remember last time they went Ezreal, Jarvan, Pantheon. So interestingly, they are banning all these jungles, but Jarvan and Pantheon are still available. But also, I feel like prioritizing Jarvan with Ezreal open wouldn't be that solid.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you ban Jarvan here, they probably just give you Pantheon because they have to ban Orianna, right? But they ban Pantheon. If I'm BNK FEARX, I probably just ban Orianna. I expect them to take Jarvan, and I just take Ezreal. But maybe KT go Ezreal themselves.
Yeah, I mean, certainly something that Aiming can play. You do have to ban Orianna. I think that's kind of non-negotiable. I don't think you can get anything that's as good as Orianna in the trade, at least this time around. Not in game 2.
Yeah, we'll see what they end up going for here. And they are just going to commit the first pick Jarvan. I'm not a huge fan of the blind first pick Jarvan because to me, you kind of want to know you're into a mobile carries where you Cataclysm and it's like, okay, you held in place. Because, yeah, if I'm BNK FEARX, it's like the most obvious Ezreal lock imaginable.
Yeah.
So no real surprise that comes through. And honestly, in terms of mid picks as well, you know, the mids that have been removed, Orianna, Anivia Rise, they're all the mobile mids. Like, there's still a pretty wide pool of, like, mobile mids available, like the Azir, the Aurora, the Ahri. There's a lot of options if they want to ensure Daystar can also get out the Cataclysm. So, yeah, I know Cuzz is extremely good at Jarvan, right? And Comfort has value, but I'm not overly convinced by this decision to go for the Jarvan. Now, they are going to go Ezreal, Neeko. Oh, I think I can hear Wadid shouting in joy. He just loves his bot lane.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I'm so happy for him, actually, that he gets to see this again.
Yeah.
Thinking about the Annie, BDD did go 0-2 in the first game against KT with this pick. Not necessarily, you know, because he did poorly in the lane, but he did get bullied a lot. As Jayce and Annie do come through, they want to prioritize the top side of the map and leave their answer for Ezreal Neeko for later.
I think if I'm being FEARX, I personally would go Aurora here. We've seen Aurora into Annie so much. It's been like the typical pick into it. It also means you can just avoid the Jarvan, but I can understand wanting to go for the Sion into Jayce. That's, you know, you can only answer one of the solo lanes. They go for the Sion into Jayce, which is a pick who can really just weather the storm and be more useful in team fights. You can block Shock Blast for your team. The Annie's never really a threat to you. KT need DPS from aiming to cut through the Sion. And sometimes we've even occasionally seen the Sion solo kill the Jayce, so that's a bit crazy. But it does mean you're not probably going to be able to get your hand on the Aurora, which I think would have been a solid pickup here for the matchup and just into the Jarvan in general. In terms of aiming, needing DPS, I think banning away the Lulu makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Pair up well with picks like Yanara. I think KT definitely I would look to be banning the Aurora, maybe the Azir as well. Actually going for the Akali here, which is a pick Daystar is known for.
Yeah, I think the Aurora needs to be next. You're right. I think this Akali is definitely very much for Daystar, but Aurora has been kind of a terror for Annie. Has not been very fun. Yucal did make BDD's life not very fun with the help of his jungler, obviously, in that first game against KT. Still very curious what we're going to get for the bottom side. So no Ashe Seraphine either.
Yeah, I think there's a good balance from BNK FEARX, just killing some of these strong bot lane duos. There's still, we haven't seen it nearly as much recently, but you could still go something like Corki Nami, right? But we'll see what they lean towards. You could, in theory, just go Yanara with a different support. But for now, they go for the Azir ban. So I think BNK FEARX actually just take the Aurora. I think Jarvan, it makes sense, as one of the picks I mentioned, but I think Aurora is kind of the standard we see into Annie and makes sense here. So I would probably just grab that now. But instead, looking towards Hwei here. Hwei did get some slight buffs in this patch, a bit more passive damage, and he just kind of do a good job at maintaining distance. But the problem is, you're playing into Jarvan and Annie. They have ways to close the gap. And when they do,
Sivir,
they are just going to blow you up.
Maybe should have mentioned this with the fact that they did play this the last time out.
You need a DPS. You need a hyper carry. You're playing into Ezreal Neeko, which is a poke lane, but we haven't seen it really flourish that much in the 2v2. You have a spell shield, you have sustain. I think this is a good spot for it. And now BNK FEARX, they've saved their jungle pick till this point.
Lee Sin for Raptor. Looks to be the angle.
Yeah. You have okay setup, but nothing super reliable. It's not like you have, we've seen games where it's like Annie Renekton, Lee Sin, where it's like really easy.
Yeah.
You kind of relying on skill shots connecting to set it up. I think I really liked the start of the draft for BNK FEARX, particularly the Ezreal and the Jarvan, the Sion coming out. I think I would have preferred them going for like the Aurora here. And I think the Sivir Yuumi is going to put a timer on this game. And we saw game one go so long. We saw really it be a back and forth slugfest. And typically, in a game where BNK FEARX are like, hey, we have a Sion, we want to go late. Sivir Yuumi, is like, fine, we can do that too.
Yeah. I mean, they looked so unstoppable when they played this combo up against Hume. It was just like, it was very similar to this, into the Sion, and a lot of people, it also had a Neeko, so there's like a clone out there getting a bunch of ricochets off, and it just felt so suffocating in the late game. They could not lock down the Sivir Yuumi, and I feel like we're going to have a very similar situation in this game. I just don't think Lee Sin's a good answer to lock down the Sivir. Yeah. And I don't think the Neeko can do it either, especially with the Yuumi with the Sivir. So we'll have to wait and see if they can end this one early. Otherwise, might be doomed for FEARX. All right, game number 2, Raptor going for a little walk. Over the wall, there are some members. But it doesn't look like there are any shenanigans down the bottom side, at least, as BDD is here in mid.
Yeah, we're going to be very careful playing into an Annie level 1, the threat that's available there. But won't see Raptor get caught out by that. We'll see what Raptor can do with the early game on this Lee Sin. I think obviously getting some momentum will make a big difference. And, we've seen some pop-off Lee Sin games. I mean, in the LCK in general, many years we've seen pop-off Lee Sin games, but as you said, doesn't have that reliable engage that maybe they need into the Sivir Yuumi.
We're going to see an exhaust used here pretty early on. A lot of summoners going back and forth, aiming aggressively, taking those, and Effort can only block so many.
Yeah. So triple combat summoners is what the Yuumi offers, which is why in some of these early trades you can actually be a lot more powerful than you expect. But Ezreal Neeko still just so hard to trade into. Ezreal specifically, just very hard to deal with Mystic shots. So they trade all those sums, still come out, not being able to really step up, have the pressure. We even see a recall come out from Effort here. And this is good for BNK FEARX. You really want to put the head down on this lane if you've ended up in this situation.
Yeah, you got to get it done early. And on the side of Effort, you kind of understand it. He doesn't want to die early and make this an even worse issue. He's just going to take the safe approach and not allow them to get even further ahead. And he says, well, I'm Yuumi, and I'll hit my levels. It's fine. As long as I don't die, should be okay. As Diable has, well, is that Diable? I do wonder. No, it's Kellin. Getting a little bit of extra damage done onto aiming.
Yeah, we saw KT try and freeze the wave have it in a position where it's just going to push into them so Aiming can get a reset. But Kellin disrupts that. And now Aiming has to stick around on such low HP. Not the best spot to be in. Raptor's in the vicinity. He's just going to go for the Scuttle Crab. And I think Cuzz is like, I don't want any of that. I see what is happening bot lane. I have places to be, and it is not around there.
Yeah.
With Aiming being so low, honestly, I think it's risky. But maybe they could have gone for a dive. But I think they just decide it's too much of a danger. One of the problems as well is playing into as Lee Sin into Sivir Yuumi is there's so much that can just disrupt your Sonic Wave. You know, you have the spell shield from the Sivir. You have Yuumi can like detach, block it, and then reattach. Because obviously you want to focus your burst on a one target and kill them. But if Yuumi tanks your Sonic Wave and reattaches, even if you reactivate it before she reattaches, you're not killing the Yuumi in time. So end up not going for the dive there.
Yeah.
See, Raptor was looking towards the top side, but doesn't find anything.
Yeah, he's trying to make an impact early on. You can tell. I mean, he farmed the whole jungle. He didn't go for an early gank, but level 4, got the Scuttle Crab, tried to put on pressure bot, went top, tried to put on pressure there, but unfortunately, he didn't even get any summoners. So early on, this Lee Sin just kind of hanging out. And this matchup in mid, pretty interesting. Generally, range feels good into Annie because she kind of has to get up close and personal-ish with her Q. Her autos are pretty long range, but into something like Hwei, or even traditionally like a Xerath or something like that, can struggle a little bit to trade back against the range.
That's the thing, you just kind of wait for level 6 and then you just flash Tibbers on top of them. So
yeah.
The fact you're already doing well in the 1v1, little worrying for Daystar. BDD's about to hit level 6, by the way.
Yeah, he is, you know, he's my boy and all, but he has not been matching BDD really at all.
It's a tough
in
task.
The series.
Yeah, Kellin gets chunked out there, trying to stop the recall.
Guess who's back?
Could this be the time they go for dive? The problem is, all those summoners that were been earlier have come back. So I actually think going for a dive now is super dangerous.
Cuzz is also here, so unfortunate timing for if they wanted to do that. Like, maybe you come in here and steal this, but no, this might go the way of Cuzz. So Cuzz just says, I'm here to get my Sivir Yuumi through lane and also secure my jungle champs.
Jungle champs?
Yes, the jungle champions, the Gromp.
Oh.
2027.
I can't wait for that release.
Yeah, I've known about it for a while.
Oh,
just thought I'd leak it here.
This on stream?
Yeah, just, you know, I just figured, why not? You know, a little bit of a slow early game.
What's the kit like?
He just licks you. It's kind of like Tom Kench. It's pretty similar.
Wow.
I was kind of against how similar the builds, you know, the skills were. But it is what it is, you know, running out of ideas. You can only make so many champions before, you know.
We do have a lot of champions in the game.
Oh, BDD did the thing.
Oh, the Annie trading pattern.
He also
dodged
everything.
Yeah.
Very annoying here for Daystar.
You know what, I feel like BDD does this a lot. He'll walk out the tether range, so he'll snap back, so he won't just sacrifice Tibbers and give 50 gold over.
Yeah.
Got a bit more damage down in the trade and then pulled it back.
Daystar is kind of just sitting around waiting to die. I mean, Annie has flash, and she was in kill range, as we very much saw there.
Yeah, so last game we had the counter matchup of the Anivia into Ryze, and still, BDD had so much pressure in lane. This time around, BDD already getting a solo kill. 7 minutes. Daystar's been struggling in this matchup, and he did manage to come back into the game later and have value. Most of his walls were pretty good in that game, although maybe... Oh, that's a lot of poke. But I think this game, if you fall behind as Hwei, you're just going to get run over by this Jarvan Annie. Got some good poke coming down bot lane, though, but Cuzz is now looking...
Yeah, he is pretty fast, already coming down here. Diable, no Arcane Shift. He does have Flash, but level 6 is Cuzz, and there's a route that comes in. Diable just going to flash the Cataclysm, and they do get away with both of their flashes having to be used.
Yeah, I mean, Honestly, I think BNK FEARX okay with that. We'll watch this replay first. So, yeah, just traps the stun, flashes in. It's that easy.
Diable stayed. And that's going to be his death. His doom there as he sticks around by himself down in the bottom lane. There's the Anon just to get out of range of the turret.
So I was going to say the bot lane play that got the summoners from BNK FEARX honestly was not too bad for BNK FEARX, specifically because KT's bot lane also burnt all their summoners. So it felt kind of even, and as an Ezreal, losing Flash isn't that big of a deal. That was until Diable stuck around and died. Now it feels a lot worse, which obviously is a consequence of that earlier gank, but aiming, getting that extra gold, definitely a big boon for the Sivir to have that already. And I think we saw the bot lane have, yeah, I mean, this is just so low. And you are, oh, yeah. Arcane shifted to dodge.
Oh, now we got a fight in the river here. Kellin just appears to be dead. Not really sure how that one started, but at least Raptor got the Drake for his team. Yeah.
Well, I feel like we keep having these situations where we're like not fully sure how the play started, so we're gonna have to get a replay to explain it. And then undoubtedly another play will happen.
Yeah, during the replay. Yeah.
Replay purgatory.
That's the way it works sometimes. And it just kind of feels like, you know, KT are once again getting an early lead, but it feels like, well, it is factually a larger gold lead earlier on. And it feels like FEARX are kind of not playing as they did in the first game, even though they fell behind in that one.
And one team also has Sivir Yuumi, so... And that's the team who are ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they back away. They respect the extra minion that shows up in the wave. Now, Raptor's looking for something here, but...
Hello.
They're wet.
Yeah. I mean, Raptor's trying his best, but, you know, sometimes in a game like this for a Lee Sin, what you have to do is kind of obvious. And if you force it, you can get counter ganked. I mean, there's no flash here, but now Cuzz is here, and all of a sudden, okay, that was a little bit wonky, but Cuzz is still going to get in and cataclysms them both, and he does get super low. Raptor with a nice cleanup there, but now BDD shows up, and it is disaster. Wow. Triple kill for BDD, who is 4-0.
Well, that certainly didn't go how BNK FEARX wanted to. They do manage to get Cuzz, but it was a pretty crushing victory there. We got to see how Kellin died.
But he was a minion. How did they know?
I think he was an Ezreal, actually.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they just killed him. And he's like, why did the Ezreal Arcane shift? Oh, it's not Ezreal, because Ezreal's bot lane.
Oh, 좋아.
So this play,
okay.
the block of this...
나왔어. 니꺼 공 있어. 아, 좋아.
아래.
가져봐.
실드대.
아, 다 잡아. 아, 이게
Yeah,
LA
the block of the Sonic Wave
아, 씨. 야, 그만 쳐먹어, 돼지야.
from effort was really good. And then I think Cuzz went for the side angle because he didn't want to get like immediately like kicked out, is my theory. But either way, like went to the side and then ulted in. But jumping in with the Yuumi ult hitting everyone, and then even though BDD's Tibbers didn't land on everyone, the AoE burn damage did so much. And
guess who's back? Once again, it is Cuzz.
yeah. I mean, this lane is kind of just a disaster now. You know, they had that early pressure, but now they're just getting pushed in. Aiming has not even completed already. He's going to start picking up plates.
Yeah, and Cuzz just gets here first, and eventually Raptor shows up. But, like, the damage of Cuzz's presence is already done. You know, he clears out some of the vision. He forces them away from the turret. Aiming picks up a turret plate. So, essentially, you know, Cuzz is not getting any kills, but he is still getting his bottom lane ahead. He's keeping them safe as well, which is one of those things that you don't necessarily see on the scoreboard, but it's definitely very important. Like, Raptor is so desperate to try to get this bottom lane into a good spot, but Cuzz is here.
Yeah, I mean, it is really on... Oh.
All right, gonna press their buttons, but that is the spell shield and the flash, and, well, as I mentioned, Cuzz is here and is looking for the play. The kick does come in, and eventually Diable pays the price, as Raptor also gets exhausted and has to run away.
You can kind of feel BNK FEARX going for these sort of desperate plays. They have to make something happen, but it's a good reaction from aiming, and Cuzz has been there, ready to...
Yeah, solo kill 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Well,
Daystar didn't figure it out the first time, and happened the second time.
He's having a bit of a tough time.
That fan just left. Did you see that? The fan just like stood up. It's like, I'm leaving.
Yeah, the spell shield was nice. The flash too from aiming to make sure he's safe, and then Cuzz comes in and then committed so much for this engage anyway. Kicked under the tower and then just gets to jump out again with the Cataclysm. Yeah, he just kind of walked up. He wanted the cannon, which he did get with his burn, so, you know, that's something at least.
Especially because BDD already had 4 kills.
Yeah, I mean, okay, the first solo kill,
just
I think we can
respect
be pretty,
it?
we can be, nah, okay, the first solo kill I think we can be pretty critical of, because getting solo killed 1v1 without any real advantage in lane, that's pretty bad. But when your laner roams bot, comes back with 4 kills, it's a lot harder to play the lane out.
Sure.
Like, you can still be critical of Daystar, don't get me wrong, but he is now playing into an extremely fed Annie with a significant item advantage, and it does make it so much harder to play out the lane. So I think that's worth taking into account as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, your argument is maybe take that into account and don't walk up, but
yeah. Especially because it happened the same way where it's like, you know, BDD is Annie with Flash. Like, that's the way that Annie works. As we're dodging everything from the Sion, it appears, as the On the Hunt is in there. And, I mean, you're not going to lock him down as a singular Sion. As here comes BDD, and eventually Clear just dies.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is that I don't think Perfect needed TP, but it's just nice to show the teamwork. You know?
Yeah, it's nice team camaraderie.
Yes, that's the word. Yeah, probably not necessary. Definitely not necessary.
Maybe he just wanted to do something in this game, you know?
As, you know, I get that. I've seen a lot of top laners feeling that way.
Just playing into Sion, there was no solo kill from either side. They're just clearing waves.
Maybe that's why some of our Jayces get solo killed by Sion, just to spice it up a little bit.
They're just bored. They're like, it's fine. I was just playing aggressively for fun. Bit of a combo here with a lot of people now. And BDD might be in some trouble to kick into the knockup as BDD does get assassinated. Okay,
that's not a goal. Picked up, so good play there. BDD just a little bit overstepping, disrespecting BNK FEARX.
Flashing on a Diable who does have flash himself, but gonna get that at least. Cuzz still has turret aggro with his red buff, and that's just gonna be a kill given over to Diable. Plus the red buff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is, so what you do when that happens, I know this from personal experience, is you actually type in chat, Ezreal flash, and then the game timer. Or just Ezreal no flash.
Yeah.
So, yeah, BDD can't really burst Kellin in that situation, doesn't have the damage. I mean, clearly he was just trying to trade flashes. This is kind of why playing Jarvan and Ezreal is a bit miserable, and then he takes the extra power. He's like, where are you going?
What's going on here?
This game's got a little bit goofy.
Yeah. Just feels like FEARX, you know, as their name suggests, they don't have a lot of fear. They're just kind of over and over sending it into the enemy team from behind.
It suggests they fear X, which is an unknown quantity, right? We need to work out what X is.
I wouldn't tell them that.
Maybe X is BDD.
I don't think that's what they intended. And we got Perfect against 2. It's a lot of damage into Daystar, but it's only so much burst. And Raptor showing up, getting a couple of big picks. It's a lot of money for him.
It's some good picks, honestly, from BNK FEARX. Getting some gold back in return. This is the sort of players that you'd want to really see when they win already 4,000 gold down, but, you know, still, they're moving in the right direction. They do need to do more of this, though, if they want to get the game into a real salvageable place, because mid, bot, and top are all substantially behind, even despite this. That being said, Raptor's getting pretty fed. So, there's that. They've got going for them.
And we always talk about how fed Lee Sin, especially in Pro, is not the biggest issue to deal with, but, you know, already 2 items, and Raptor is playing very well as, wow, the extension here from Kellin. They find BDD again. And the execution damage in the mid game from this Fed Lee Sin,
It's big.
getting huge value.
Yeah, they're doing well. They keep finding these picks on repeat. And KT now going to get heralded mid. A lot of plate gold going to get picked up. The pressure is there from BNK FEARX. They're really bouncing back here.
Kellin found himself an enemy team. Third kill here for aiming.
You know, we take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
But still, BNK FEARX overall positive play. They are being proactive, and it kind of feels a bit akin to game one, where it got so muddy in the mid game.
Yeah.
You know, KT, I feel like if this was last year, I would be so unsurprised with how this game and last game have been going.
Yeah.
But they've been so much cleaner in, I mean, not even last year, in the LCK Cup.
What is happening? This is hide on bush simulator.
Yeah, like, once again, some people might not believe this if they haven't watched much LCK so far. You can, under KT's name, the top of the screen, it says 7-0.
Yeah.
That is not a graphical error. That is correct and true.
It is real life. Yeah.
They are 7-0.
They've only lost 2 games, by the way. So
yeah,
only 2 of their series have gone to 3. Every other series was 2-0.
This game's just been... It kind of feels like maybe they just already felt like the series was over with that early advantage. BDD getting 4 kills. Because they feel a little bit unfocused.
Yeah, it's not the clean KT we've come to know and love nowadays, at least, as Diable gets pretty low. The ricochets are coming in, and now Raptor says, I can take him out, Surly. I'm very fed. And he has to flash away from BDD, who shows up. Here comes the rest of the FEARX squad, as aiming is very fast. The root does come down. The stun onto the Neeko is gigantic from BDD, and that's going to keep aiming safe. Clear once again. Very sad playing Sion into Sivir Yuumi. And he finds out that, again, he cannot do anything by himself. So that should just be the Ocean Drake here on top of the kills for KT.
So I think what happened there, and I'm not sure who it was, probably aiming, but someone on KT said, okay, guys, lock in. And they locked in. So Raptor nearly going down as well, despite being so fed. Just kind of running down Diable here. And he's like, okay, I'll lock in, chip to the other side of the wall. And it's like, you're still in auto range. Here, though, Raptor trying to peel, but just so much sustain from aiming. Very hard to deal with.
Kick either.
Yeah, not specifically from aiming, from effort as well. And then great peel from BDD to stop Kellin from reaching aiming there, dropping the tippers down. Could have been a bit trickier if he was able to reach the Sivir, but with that stun coming through, Clear's just left isolated and can't really do much.
So now we have a 4-0-6 Sivir and Yuumi. Well, Sivir with the Yuumi.
A little bit fed.
Yeah.
A little bit mega fed.
BDD, even though he did kind of die in a silly way in the top lane, he's still very fed. He got the flash out of the Neeko on his second death, you could say. I mean, from ahead, you know, every single flash that you get out of the enemy team does feel pretty good, especially if they only get the kill and nothing else.
With how they've been playing, BNK FEARX, having the enemy summoners down is big. And so something that we often see is a team falls behind and they just don't do anything.
Yeah.
And they just wait and they wait and they wait.
That's not FEARX.
When they finally look for a fight, the enemy team has all 5 flashes available. You go for the engage, they flash out, and then they just hit you and you die because they're richer than you. So the fact that BNK FEARX are forcing these plays and burning sums means that when it comes to a big fight, you know, there may be someone without flash that you can target.
Oh boy. That was not the Hurricane Shift he was looking for. He still does have flash. He's going to use it on the Cataclysm. Now the peel does come through. Cuzz in a bit of trouble as he does get locked down and killed, but they still cannot deal with aiming. And that'll be the kill onto the Neeko. Kellin here clear once again. Kind of out by his lonesome, but at least he lands the slow. Can walk it off.
So downside to that,
right? Okay, they're really trying to go in on this one. And now, I mean, Diable's gonna launch himself forward. They're gonna kill on a perfect, and now it's only aiming, trying to take down everyone with effort. As finally BDD makes his way back, but they did take out the Sivir.
Yeah.
It is possible.
They managed to do it. It's touch and go a little bit, and they're chasing down BDD with very low health bars apart from clear. Oh, close. I'm not sure you wanted to take that.
Even if you land that, it's like, no, I don't think you want a piece of this.
He so wants to press Q again, but you really shouldn't.
Cuzz also back, yeah.
Hectic fight once again, but BNK FEARX target selection has really been on point and able to focus down the right people despite Diable starting off with a short arcane shift, doesn't get over the wall, but flashes the Cataclysm. They then pump all this damage into Cuzz and he gets deleted. Once again, the Jarvan into Ezreal, maybe not the winning strategy. Kellin does get exploded here. And then it looks like the fight's over, it looks like we're done. But BDD walks, actually TPs for a flank angle, and immediately BNK FEARX move in. Perfect on the Jayce gets kicked into a wall. Effort's pretty low on mana, and even though Aiming has enough DPS just to kill Diable, he just goes down, and they lose the Yuumi instantly too. So the gold lead is closed, it shrunk. This is a competitive game right now, and the main focus is going to be killing the Sivir. That is a very relevant point.
You know, that's exactly what happened in the game against KT, where it was like everything kind of fell apart in the early game, and KT had a nice lead. And they even got Aiming in like the mid lane the one time. And then after that, Aiming just played a little bit safer, farmed up to 4 or 5 items, and the game was just over. And everybody else on KT was very far behind, but their Sivir was just untouchable.
And I tell you, with how this series has been going, with how game 1 went, more so, I think picking Insurance, picking like Sivir Yuumi, was a great call.
Yeah. I
think that was very insightful. Because last game was a long one, and it was messy, and just having that, guys, if we get full build, I think we just win. Now, to be fair, it's not completely clear-cut, because, you know, if Aiming missteps, misplays, gets exploded, gets caught out, you know, it can go wrong. BNK FEARX have some good scaling carries with some good poke, and the Sion front line. But generally speaking, I think the Sivir's going to be a thorn in their side, and Clear has struggled so far this game to make an impact. Has gone for a lot of armor here, which I think is the right call, but still just kind of, you know, Sivir just runs circles around you and then spell shields your CC while shredding you down.
And also bounces all of the ricochets off of you onto the rest of the team.
Yes.
If everybody else is there.
Even on the Neeko clone too.
Yeah.
You know?
So it just feels like no real winning for the Sion. And at any point, really. The LDR is finished. At least Aiming doesn't have an IE yet. But next, as they're looking for the Ocean Soul point here, doesn't look like FEARX want to fight over this. Trying to get some vision on Baron, I suppose.
Yeah. Honestly, I think someone who actually gets a good amount of value from the Ocean Soul is Effort. Because Effort keeps running out of mana. So, you know, getting the extra mana when you hit someone could go a decent amount of distance. But generally, this is a squishier team for KT, not the most value. They're just starting back. Of course they are.
They're just calling the bluff of KT, who grouped in mid and were trying to push. But now Cuzz comes over, says, hey, they are actually doing the Baron. And Cuzz, I mean, it's going to be difficult to keep him out of the pit as a Jarvan. But KT a little bit late to the party. Diable does get chunked a little bit. Perfect also putting an extra chunk into Diable, who's now half health. But this Baron is getting pretty low. You can see that Clear's just trying to tank it up. Cuzz gets in the pit, but not able to get the smite down. The kick comes in and helps him out. Clear is out of the fight, though, as the rest of BNK FEARX are just on the run. Aiming is sprinting at them with the Yuumi on his back. And there doesn't look like there's much escape, although Cuzz able to pick up the Neeko. We got a TP in here. BDD shuts down the enemy AD carry, and that is a wipe, essentially, with only Clear alive. KT will look to push mid.
Don't think that ends up being with for BNK FEARX. Clear survived and was like, I'm going to recall TP back in with full HP. But unfortunately, KT just managed to wrap around. You can see Aiming dodging all the skill shots, moving forward, but the TP flank from BDD is really the nail in the coffin. And now should be able to get this tower. We'll see if they stick with the inhib. I guess they can just basically one-shot it. The game isn't over, but it's a big blow to BNK FEARX's chances on the back of that, because especially as they got the Baron.
Hey. Congratulations to Cuzz.
Oh yeah, big achievement. That's total assists.
Yeah.
He is 9. And you can see the junglers above him are Canyon and Peanut.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. That Baron power play right now, minus 2,300, 400. Not doing so hot. Yeah, this is... They have the Baron and Clear at least, so it looks like they're going to try and use that mid lane and get this mid-tier 1.
I don't know if you really can. against the Sivir. I mean, if nobody else on KT shows up, perhaps an aiming, I guess, is going to play it safe. So yeah, in fact, they are able to do it with that one Baron buff. Uh-oh. That's the stun on the Daystar, and he's basically dead. He gets out with his life. Cuzz now in a bit of trouble. He's going to be taken down, but the damage and the ricochets are already coming through. Clear has to go forward just to avoid bouncing it onto the team. Raptor desperately trying to get something here on the top side against Perfect, and he should be able to. A lot of low health bars, but advantage BNK FEARX in the kill department.
Hey, KT were playing this like split angle. You can see BDD was looking for a flank, and Perfect was getting poked from the side. We'll look at the Baron first, actually. So, Cuzz just not able to get the smite in. It's good control from BNK FEARX. It looks chaotic, but they managed to kick Cuzz away. And I think he smites as he's leaving range, and then it's just secured by BNK FEARX. This, though, unfortunately, the TP's coming in for the Sion, but it's not quick enough. BDD gets this great angle to just destroy Diable. And it's a great cleanup. This play, though, you know, the Rocket Belt from Daystar definitely helping out there. The turnaround of the Cuzz. And then Daystar nearly dies to Ricochet here. I was really worried for him. But they just turn onto the Jayce, and Raptor's kind of playing like an assassin on this Jayce, well, on the lead into the Jayce.
Yeah.
Just able to pick him off. It really kind of feels like, even though KT, you know, have had a lead for most of this game, for all this game, I think, actually, even though aiming's doing 1 million damage, it does not feel secure. It feels like it's been a little bit all over the place. That's been this series as a whole, to be honest.
Yeah. And now we're diving mid. The Neeko even here. BDD with the Rocket Belt. So much value out of that item in so many different circumstances. So they go pretty deep for that one. You can see the chase is kind of on here from KT. There's the flag and drag into the Sion. Clear. Not very long for this world as the rest of the team just kind of abandons him. And aiming eventually will catch up. And that'll be the end of the Sion. This is right before the Ocean Drake, by the way. So
yeah, Sion down.
Be alive.
Pretty huge pick up there. He's up in 45 seconds and has TP, but the Dragon's going to be long gone by then, I assume. That's some good poke from Diable, to be fair.
You see KT want to continue on this one. Cuzz going to go in, force that Arcane Shift out of Diable, but it's still an Ezreal. He's still able to get away. He's doing an insane amount of poke as we speak, but he did get pretty low from the play. And it looks like they'll just back away and try to take this Ocean Soul.
You can see Raptor wrapping around, trying to look for a steal angle. It's so hard to track him with the Ocean Soul map, with all the extra brushes.
He's on vision here. And he's going to just try to take out Kellin, it looks like. Meanwhile, Raptor did go into the pit, but he was a little bit late. The Ocean Soul did go over to KT. That'll be another kill here for BDD, who is super fast with the Yuumi on his back. And the shield that he gets. Perfect, meanwhile, just TP'd into the base and forced the Sion back, I suppose. That'll be the end of Diable. It's not a, you know, very clean, decisive, you know, team fight victory here at the very end of the game, but it's still a win here for KT as they take down 4, and they'll look to take down BNK FEARX 2-0 tonight.
I think BNK FEARX put up a pretty good fight, considering KT have been our strongest team. KT definitely not that cleanest performance, but ultimately, when it came to the clutch moments in the later stages of the game, BDD was there with some great flank angles, and aiming was just that consistent carry, putting out the damage. I think, as you said, not the cleanest performance, but a win is a win, and they continue their hot streak right now in the LCK.
Yes, 8 in a row.